Hey, my beautiful bitches, it's me, Fiona St. James, and welcome to another episode of Fiona's Coffee Talks. And as always, I'd like to start off every day with a fresh, hot, black cup of coffee. Hold the cream! I'd love to. And of course, I think of my favorite quote of the century by Oscar Wilde, which says, "Life is too important to be taken seriously, so lighten up, folks." All right, so today's episode is, drumroll, Sudden Sensorineural Hearing Loss, SSHL. Why? Because about a month ago, suddenly, hence the name sudden, I went deaf in my right ear. For no reason. 1 second I was fine. Minute later, Helen Keller didn't have shit over me, honey. That's what happened. So when you Google it, it basically it's this rare, not that rare, people get it, but it's not that commonplace, but it hits people in their late 40s and 50s. And it's basically like 1 minute you're fine and a minute later, girl, you ain't hearing shit. And, but when it first happened, I thought that my head felt a little foggy and it was cold because it was, December, whatever, first week of December. And I'm not one to suffer from sinuses, but I thought, well, maybe did I catch a cold? I don't know. I went to urgent care and they were like, oh, Flonase and Sudafed, but if not, then go see an ENT doctor in 5 days. It wasn't until the very next morning that it occurred to me, no, I'm legit deaf. I can't hear shit out of this ear. So I saw an ENT doctor, and he looked in my ear, no infection, but then he was like, it might be sinuses, but you need to see our audiologist. Let's do a hearing test. So we did that and basically realized that I was completely deaf. And then that's when we realized it was this SSHL. So he put me on prednisone, 60 milligrams. The norm is 20, so we did 3 times that. A week later, I saw him, absolutely no improvement. So I did the hearing test again, saw him, and I was really freaking out and trying not to be too upset. How could you not? Because I was all I could hear was white noise and the constant heaviness in my head and the pounding. And if I would speak too much, the vibration was too much. So I couldn't even, for days, couldn't even deal with hearing anything, television, music. So I was pretty much just home. The once a week that I'd jump on the train to go see him, even the subway ride was too long. Then it was really freaky because if I would be talking to someone or hearing a voice and then suddenly I would hear other outside noise or other voices, other people talking, then because my left ear was so magnified, it suddenly didn't know what to hone in on. And girl, I thought I was civil. I'm like, girl, I'm schizophrenic. It sounded like I had all of these voices in my head. And it was all of the people around me talking. And that would happen when I would jump on the train to go see my doctor. And even the train rides were horrific. So, a week later, absolutely no improvement. So then at that point, he said, let's do prednisone for another week. And then they gave me a steroid injection in my ear, which nearly killed me. He was like, try not to move. And I jumped up, practically hit the ceiling. And he said, you might get vertigo for 5 seconds. Well, honey, it was more for 10 seconds. I was like, whoa. And I thought I was falling off the chair. Meanwhile, you're not even moving because you're laying back there. So exactly a week later, so by now it's been 2 weeks, drastic difference. Between doing the second week of the prednisone and the ear injection, I went from absolutely no hearing, 0, to then if this is the normal range, I was at the lower end of the range. But such a drastic improvement. And that was after 2 weeks. So then we did yet a second shot. I stopped doing the prednisone at that point, but a second injection in the ear, which I handled that one a lot better. Now I didn't even get the vertigo. And that helped. So then a week and a half later, we did another hearing test, and I'm happy to report that my hearing is completely back to normal. I'm still a little hesitant though, I've yet to put earbuds in, and I'm still holding the phone and having people on speakerphone and having it like this, because I'm just still a little cautious, because it just It's just been really a few days, or less than a week anyway, that I'm back to normal. So it's been a complete month, and a month of where even speaking too much was not fun. And you girls, you know me, I'm chatty Cathy, so I'm like, girl, how you gonna shut me up? This bitch talks a lot. How am I gonna shoot videos or talk to people if I'm gonna be in pain? But I manage somehow. So I'm definitely in much better spirits now, which is I was like, I gotta put on my cute little boots. Haven't worn these in a while. But, so it's been stressful, between my own health issues, this particular health issue, still taking care of my parents, this pandemic, I've been isolating a lot, and I've, not in the best headspace, but I'm in a much better space now. So anyway, I wanted to do this video because I have to think I'm not the only person who's ever experienced this. I didn't even know that this existed. And it just came as a shock that suddenly, I'm deaf. They say that, like, when you look it up, they say that the majority of people get their hearing fully back, mostly back, partially back, but some people get none of it back. So about 10 days into this, I kept saying out loud, I insist that I'm going to get my hearing back. I insist that I'm going to get it back. Because really the whole thing with that was, since I wear Tiffany diamonds, I said, well, shit, if I'm going to get a hearing aid, I'm going to have to bejewel it with Tiffany diamonds. And let's keep it real, hun. I ain't going to spend my money on diamonds. I didn't on these. And I thought, I ain't that young anymore. So it's not like I got a line of gentlemen callers that are going to buy me diamonds. So just for financial purposes alone, I was like, I have to get my hearing back. And I knew that I knew almost instantly that I would, because the day after this happened, I immediately started making fun of the whole situation, because laughter is the best medicine. And I said, this is actually great, because sometimes I feel that half the shit that bitches be saying anyway isn't worth listening to. So I'm like, oh, thank God I'm half deaf, so I'm only going to hear half the shit. So, all right, guys. If you like what I have to say, don't forget, thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Leave your comments. I'm sure there are people out there who have experienced this. If you have, hopefully you got your hearing back 100% as well. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Love you so much. Thank you for indulging. Stay safe and healthy. Have a happy new year, and I will see you guys soon. Love you.